Welcome back for another episode of the Sports Playbook, where I will give you a breakdown of what's been happening in the world of sport over the last 7 days. You're joined by your host, D-Moz. This week's been a huge week in the world of sport, so you know the drill. Let's get right into it. In netball, the New South Wales Swifts beat the Thunderbirds in a strong statement. Down by as much as 7 at the end of the first quarter, the Swifts turned it around to win the remaining 3 quarters. Tegan O'Shannessy had an amazing game and won Player of the Match in a well-deserved performance with over 6 intercepts. Shani Lambden, the wing defence, and Grace White, the wing attack, were also strong from the Swifts. Grace Weckie also won in the battle of Weckie and Sterling Humphrey. The Swifts won by 8 points. On a separate note, Ramilda Aiken-George set the record for the most ANZC and Super Netball games combined with 233. That is a record set over 18 seasons at the top level, whilst in the latter years of her career playing some of the best netball she's ever played, all with her young daughter right by her side. What an amazing achievement, and well done to Ramilda. In the AFL, Brisbane have been handed their first loss of the season by Collingwood. In front of their home fans, Brisbane had a shocking loss to Collingwood, losing by 52 points. However, Brisbane Lions coach Chris Fagan is not overreacting to the shock loss, as he went on to describe the team's performance as lackluster. In the NRL, the Bulldogs pull away at the top of the NRL ladder. In the annual Good Friday clash, the Bulldogs went up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs in front of a record crowd, 65,305. That has set the record for the largest standalone NRL club game. But the Bulldogs proved far too strong for Wayne Bennett's boys, keeping the Bunnies scoreless, 32-0. The game was also shrouded in controversy as Jai Arrow, the South Sydney second rower, was involved in an altercation with a fan. I don't know about you, but as a fan, we can obviously pay to watch the game, but I didn't realise that gave you a right to swear at a player, and I understand we can all get passionate, but it was quite an interesting move from this fan. Multiple social media videos were made of it. You can make of it what you will. Wayne Bennett made comments post-game about the Jai Arrow confrontation, saying words to the effect of, "It would have been good if he had got upset on the football field." Also in the NRL, Shaun Lane to take an indefinite leave of absence from rugby league. For the Parramatta second rower, he has decided to take immediate leave from the game. Lane was due to play for the New South Wales Cup side on Easter Monday, but Lane has had a tough off-season, having minor knee surgery to repair his damaged knee, and has played the first 5 games of this season for the Eels, but has since been dropped. From his 186 NRL games so far, he has scored a total of 36 tries, and hopefully for Shaun's sake, he has got all the support he needs around him during his time away from the sport. Finally in NRL, the 2026 Las Vegas teams are shaping up. Whilst yet to be confirmed, Channel 9's Michael Chammas has reported the 4 teams that are in line to launch the 2026 season in Vegas. Those 4 teams are the Dragons, the Bulldogs, the Knights, and the Cowboys. It appears the Knights will go up against the Cowboys, which means that the Dolphins will not be going to Vegas as previously rumoured, but the Dragons will go up against the Bulldogs in a huge clash. These 2 teams are old-time rivals, and they both have strong supporter bases that I'm sure will attract a huge crowd over to Las Vegas. In cricket, the 14-year-old IPL prodigy smashes a 6 off his first ball. At just 14 years of age, Vabi Srivastawa became the youngest cricketer to play in the IPL for the Royals. When he was just 13, he signed this contract with the Royals, and his contract value is $207,000. He launched his first ball for 6, and he made 34 off 20. The young man played with a lot of emotion, which was evident when he was dismissed from the game. He's under great guidance, though, with the coach of the Royals, Indian cricket great Rahul Dravid, as the current coach. In athletics, the Stawell Gift has 2 new winners. For those that don't know, the Stawell Gift is the richest athletics event on the Australian calendar, and it's set in Victoria. Gout Gout and Lockie Kennedy, who both were participating in the Stawell Gift, both failed to make the final after being knocked out of their semi due to significant handicaps. In the men's final, John Evans from South Australia has gone on to win the 100 metre in its 143rd edition of the 120 metre handicap race. For Evans, his profession is actually a school teacher back in South Australia, so I guess he schooled his opponents. Prix Rizzo, the 2024 Paris Olympian 100 metre semi-finalist, that was a tongue twister, won the women's Stawell Gift off a scratch mark. For those that don't know, which included me up until about an hour ago, a scratch mark in relation to the race means that Rizzo had to run the full 120 metres for this race. In football, Lyon beat Arsenal to move one step closer to the Champions League final. In a matchup that involved 4 Matilda's players, including Ellie Carpenter from Lyon, Steph Catley, Caitlin Ford and Kyra Cooney-Cross from Arsenal. Lyon got the better of Arsenal, winning 2-1 in leg 1 of the semi-final. Also in football, Matilda star Tameka Yallop was injured in the Brisbane Roar loss. Yallop injured her right hamstring and could be in doubt for the upcoming friendlies for the Matildas up against Argentina in late May and June. Yallop leapt off the field in the 89th minute in another devastating blow for the Matildas as they're starting to run out of reinforcements up the front. Brisbane Roar went down 2-0 to the Melbourne Victory. Holly McNamara, who is a forward from Melbourne City, has gone on to win the W League Golden Boot. Melbourne City has gone on to top the ladder in the regular season as the final series is just about to begin. And with that, we will take a short break and after get into the burning rubber breakdown. It is time for the burning rubber breakdown. Let's burn it up. In Formula 1, Oscar Piastri wins the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix to lead the Formula 1 World Championship. But before we get into that, Lance Stroll has broken a record. It's quite an incredible record. It's the most Q1 exits from any Formula 1 driver. Do you want to have a guess of how many it is? It's 75. Honestly, what a waste of a seat. This race, however, had its fair share of controversy, with it starting on the first lap at the first corner. Max Verstappen in the Red Bull started on pole, and Piastri in the McLaren got the better start. But heading into turn 1, Oscar didn't leave any room as he had the inside of the corner. But Max went around the outside hoping for Oscar to leave him some room. Max went off the track to gain an advantage and started to set off down the road. But behind, Pierre Gasly from Alpine and Yuki Tsunoda from Red Bull crashed and caused the safety car on lap 1. From here, Max received a 5-second time penalty for going off track and gaining an advantage. Oscar would go on to win the race by 2.7 seconds, so that penalty was crucial in the end. For Williams, they were able to get a double points finish, with Carlos Sainz finishing 8th and Alex Albon in 9th. For Oscar, he's the first Australian to lead the World Drivers' Championship since his manager, Mark Webber, did back when he was racing for Red Bull in 2010. For Lando Norris, he sits second in the championship by 10 points. The next race is the Miami Grand Prix from the 2nd to the 4th of May. And with that, it is time to get into your fast fact for a pub chat. It's time to pull yourself a chair, pour yourself a drink. It is time for your fast fact for a pub chat. And this week's fast fact, I thought it could be centred around the top of the table Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs in the NRL. Did you know that it's the first time since 1938 that the Bulldogs have won their first 6 games in a row? Since then, World War II has started and finished, and Australia has hosted 2 Olympic Games, and multiple other things in between. For the first time in the club's history, the Bulldogs have kept 2 sides scoreless in back-to-back games. That's pretty impressive stuff from the boys from Belmore. And with that, we're up to the final segment of this week's podcast. It is 3 games I'm looking forward to this weekend. In the NRL, the Bulldogs will take on the Broncos on Thursday night. For the Bulldogs, they will face their toughest challenge yet, going up against a team full of X Factor all over the park. For the Broncos, they will be without Reece Walsh, who will be out for 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury. For the rest of the team, they will need to take a step up in his absence to take on the Bulldogs. This isn't a game in particular, but I'm just calling out the multiple Anzac Day games for this year. In the NRL, we have the Roosters taking on the Dragons, the Warriors taking on the Knights, the Storm up against the Rabbitohs. In the AFL, you have Collingwood up against Essendon and the Fremantle Dockers up against the Adelaide Crows, all on the 25th of April. I honestly think there is nothing more moving than the minute of silence and the last post being played at all of these games. Please ensure, wherever you are, you take a moment to think of the Anzacs who fought for the freedom of Australia and New Zealand that we are so lucky to live in such incredible countries. Finally, in netball, the Battle of Queensland is on, with the Sunshine Coast Lightning taking on the Queensland Firebirds on Saturday, the 26th of April. This game will be a battle for the shooters, with the Firebirds duo of Mary Chalock and Emily Moore. Or will it be the Sunshine Coast duo of Steph Fretwell and Cara Cohen that can strike lightning down on their opponents? And with that, we have come to the end of today's show. Thank you for listening. We will catch you on the next play.